Blood sugar drops 33% when you eat potatoes this way. One preparation change, 5 minutes. The potato has been unfairly demonized because we've been looking at it through an outdated lens. For decades, the glycemic index was the gold standard, and potatoes sat right at the top. But scientists have discovered that the structure of starch isn't fixed. It's actually incredibly flexible. When you cook a potato the traditional way and eat it hot, those starch molecules are loose and easily broken down into glucose, hitting your bloodstream like a freight train. This leads to that familiar heavy feeling and the inevitable hunger pangs just an hour later. But here is where the magic happens. There is a specific process called starch retrogradation. When you manipulate the temperature of the potato after it's been cooked, the physical structure of the carbohydrates actually transforms. They turn into something called resistant starch type 3. This isn't just a fancy name. It's a type of fiber that your small intestine literally cannot digest. Instead of being absorbed as sugar, it travels all the way to your large intestine, where it feeds your beneficial gut bacteria. The 33% drop we are talking about isn't a guess. It's a result seen in clinical settings. By simply allowing your potatoes to cool completely for at least 12 to 24 hours after boiling, the starch crystallizes. This crystallization is the key. Even if you reheat them the next day, that crystal structure remains largely intact. You get the same delicious, fluffy texture, but your body processes it entirely differently. You're essentially eating prebiotic potatoes that stabilize your insulin rather than blowing it out of the water. Think about the implications for your daily life. Most people struggle with weight loss not because they lack willpower, but because their hormones are constantly screaming for more fuel due to glucose spikes. By switching to this cook and cool method, you're providing your body with a slow-release fuel source. This means no more hangry episodes, no more brain fog after lunch, and a significant reduction in systemic inflammation. It's the ultimate metabolic loophole that lets you keep your favorite comfort foods on the menu. The prep is ridiculously easy and takes less than 5 minutes of actual effort. You boil your potatoes whole. Keeping the skin on is vital because the skin contains extra fiber and minerals that further slow down digestion. Once they are fork tender, you drain them and move them straight into the refrigerator. You aren't just chilling them, you are undergoing a chemical transformation. The colder the temperature and the longer the duration, the more resistant starch is formed. Wait, it gets even better. When you finally eat these potatoes, you aren't just avoiding a sugar spike. You're actually improving your insulin sensitivity for the next meal you eat. This is known as the second meal effect. The butyrate produced by your gut bacteria when they ferment that resistant starch sends signals to your brain and liver to manage glucose more efficiently for the rest of the day. You are literally training your metabolism to be more resilient with every bite. Now let's talk about the 5-minute aspect of this change. Most people think healthy eating requires hours of meal prep. This is the opposite. You can boil a massive batch of potatoes on Sunday night in 10 minutes, toss them in the fridge, and you have a week's worth of metabolically optimized carbs ready to go. You can slice them into salads, lightly pan-fry them in a healthy fat like avocado oil, or mash them with a bit of Greek yogurt. The versatility is endless, and the health benefits are immediate. A huge mistake people make is thinking they have to eat them cold to get the benefit. That's a myth. While cold potato salad is great, the retrograded starch is stable. You can reheat your chilled potatoes to a comfortable eating temperature, and while a tiny fraction of the resistant starch might convert back, the vast majority stays in its beneficial form. This means you can have hot, delicious roasted potatoes that still give you that 33% reduction in glucose impact. It's also important to consider the pairing power. If you take these optimized potatoes and pair them with a healthy acid, like a splash of apple cider vinegar or lemon juice, you create a synergistic effect. The acid further slows down gastric emptying, which means the glucose that is there enters your blood even more slowly. Add a healthy fat and a clean protein, and you've created the perfect metabolic meal that keeps you in a fat-burning state for hours. Why isn't everyone doing this? because the food industry wants you hooked on the fast-acting glucose cycle. High sugar, high processed starch foods keep you hungry and keep you buying. By moving back to whole food, resistant starch preparation, you are taking back control of your hunger hormones. You're moving away from the glucose roller coaster and onto a steady, high energy plateau that lasts all day long. Let's break down the science of why the 33% number is so significant. In studies comparing freshly boiled potatoes to cooled and reheated potatoes, the peak blood glucose levels were consistently lower across the board. This isn't just for people with prediabetes, this is for anyone who wants to age slower. Every time your blood sugar spikes, you undergo a process called glycation, which essentially rusts your cells from the inside out. Reducing those spikes is the closest thing we have to an anti-aging fountain of youth. If you're worried about the taste, don't be. Many people actually prefer the texture of cured potatoes. They hold their shape better, they have a deeper, more complex flavor profile, and they lack that mushy, overly starchy mouthfeel that fresh potatoes can sometimes have. You're not sacrificing flavor for health, you're enhancing both. It's a rare win-win in the world of nutrition science. One of the most exciting updates for 2026 is our understanding of the microbiome's role in weight management. We now know that people with a diverse range of gut bacteria stay leaner regardless of calorie intake. Resistant starch is the number one fuel for these lean bacteria. By eating your potatoes this way, you are literally gardening your gut to favor a leaner physique. You are changing your internal ecosystem to work for you, not against you. The FOMO here is real. If you continue eating potatoes the old way, you are unnecessarily stressing your pancreas and inviting metabolic dysfunction. You are leaving energy and health on the table. Every day you wait to implement this 5-minute change is another day you're dealing with avoidable energy crashes and cravings. This is the simplest, most effective shift you can make starting tonight. Imagine waking up tomorrow with steady energy, no bloating, and the knowledge that your lunch is actually helping you burn fat. No expensive supplements, no restrictive fad diets, just a smarter way to handle a kitchen staple. This is how the most health-conscious people in 2026 are staying ahead of the curve. They aren't working harder, they are working with their biology. The one preparation change is the definitive line between a diet that drains you and a diet that fuels you. We often look for complex solutions to our health problems, but the most profound changes are usually the simplest. This potato hack is proof of that. It's accessible to everyone, it's affordable, and the results are backed by hard data. Before we get to that final cool-down protocol that will maximize your results, let's recap. Boil with the skin on, chill for 24 hours, and pair with an acid. This triple threat approach ensures you are getting the absolute maximum metabolic benefit from every single calorie. You're transforming a bad carb into a super carb in less time than it takes to check your email. Now, here is the final tip that ties it all together. To truly hit that 33% reduction and beyond, you must use the double chill method. If you cook, chill, reheat, and then let it cool just slightly on your plate for 60 seconds before eating, the starch alignment reaches its peak stability. This tiny 60-second pause right before you eat ensures the resistant starch is at its most potent level when it hits your digestive tract.